Hi, my name's Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and this is one of the coolest bows ever. This is a NIDA Kestrel. No, it's not. I can't remember the name of it. It's that old, but this was one of the landmark bows, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I was going to say Kestrel, but no, it's not. Okay, a little bit about this. So this bow came in today second-hand into my store. So it was the guy's brother's bow, and it had these arrows, which we're going to talk about also. And I'm like, do you know how many of these bows I sold? Do you know how old this bow is? Now, I'm starting to show my age, right? Because I can remember when I was a kid selling this bow. Now, there was never many of these bows brought onto the market, okay? NIDA produced this bow when they were looking to try and make a sort of a step, a next design model. Then they sold the company. So they produced this bow, they then sold the company. And then, kind of NIDA went downhill pretty much after that. And, it's then got sold off to Bass Pro. And look, whatever you think of NIDA today, it is what it is. But this bow to me was just one of those landmark bows, and I think it was a big improvement. But as I said, I want to talk a little bit about the story. So this customer comes in and wants to sell his bow. It's his brother's bow, and basically he died a couple of years ago. And I'm going to say let's just say what it was, suicide. Men's health, huge issue. So in mental health, in hospitals, 80% of the patients in there are men. Men commit suicide 4 times more than women, so suicide's a huge issue. Anyway, this bow and the guy, so I was like, I must have known this. So this is one of my bows, right? So I went out there and I saw the customer, and I'm like, oh, you know what, like, whose bow was this? And because these were clearly, sold from my dad's store. Anyway, he goes, the guy hunted in Yunta. And I'm like, bingo, that's where my dad hunted, and that's where dad took people up. This was, got sold in my dad's store, and it's got things the way I used to do it. And I'm like back when I was a kid, right? And I used to sell archery. These arrows are back from when I was a kid. These are a Ted Nugent arrow from Gold Tip. Old school, right? And these are a blemish. So these are like a second, and dad used to buy them really cheap. Anyway, so I'm thinking of who is this guy from like 20, from 30 plus years ago. And the thing about owning an archery shop, you tend to see the same customers forever. Now I think it's the customer who got lost once when he hunted with dad, and they had to call people out to find him. I think that's who it is. But I can't ask my dad because dad's passed away. But that's whose bow I think it is. So it's kind of an interesting story. But this bow is very unique. Now these arrows are unique too. Ted Nugent, obviously with Gold Tip. Ted Nugent, famous hunter, country singer in America. My auntie would call Ted Nugent God, or some sort of male god-like figure, because she literally she drooled when she saw Ted Nugent. She thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Far better than sliced bread, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, these are the Ted Nugent blemished shafts. Right, so a bit about the bow. Now, NIDA had the original bow, which is the NIDA, the original NIDA, the NIDA Tomcat, the NIDA, I'm going to say Phoenix, the NIDA Aeroforce, which was a cast riser, big chunky plastic handle. They then brought out the MR80, which was a machine riser. The handle was still pretty chunky. The cables ran down the center of the riser here, which put them under quite a bit of tension, and it put a fair bit of tension on the cable through the grip here, right? So that's the first sort of stage of a NIDA. Now, with this one, what they said was instead of running the cables down the handle, we'll build this little section here and run them down here. That will take all the tension off the cables. This was a great idea. Now, what they also did, they put a draw stop. These are draw stops. So originally on the Oneida Aero Force, later on, they put a draw stop on the cam just here, which you could bolt on, I think there, and it used to hit on the riser somewhere, I can't think right now, but this is a draw stop, and they had the same thing on these cams, but they built it here, so you move this around to change the draw stop. This is a good idea. This is good. This guy had silencers, which I haven't seen before. The rubber thing that was standard on them, he had a little silencer there. This was pretty standard, putting moleskin on the back. Now these limbs are interesting, right? So Oneida originally had a wood limb, fiberglass. So fiberglass outer, wood layers. Now, I can never remember there being a failure on them, right? But I think they wanted to lighten up the limb to make the bow faster. This is like a carbon fiberglass thing. It's a molded limb. This was later on in the career. I'm not sure if they're still doing them or not, but this was kind of unique at the time. They used to have a plate across here. This one doesn't, and that's the way I remember it, but this is kind of a bit unique for me. Like I said, I only ever sold a couple of these. This thing here was from Limb Saver. They were really expensive at the time, meant to absorb shock. It's kind of cool. Now, he had a Hoyt sight on this bow, but he also had a Hoyt bow, so he took the Apex hunting sight, which he had on this bow, obviously, and fitted it to the Hoyt and fitted the Hoyt sight to this bow. So that's kind of a bit interesting. He obviously shot this one with fingers. Yeah, pretty unique and cool bow. So I think we might as well shoot it. Now these arrows, 55-75, these were pretty cool, and I remember selling these. These ones have got, like, these vanes are old. Now maybe he must have refletched them, because these are the new when you get old. These are those vanes. What are they? XI vanes? Fusion vanes. XI. So the original ones are here. These are Elite Plasti Fletch, and you can see he's probably shot some stuff with that. But anyway, let's shoot it. I don't know what poundage it is because the markings are all rubbed off. But to me, it's cool. It's not a... This is a bow I'm going to put on the shelf because it's so unique. It's so cool. I just know there's literally a handful of them. Like, it's not the Kestrel. It's I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, I'm sure someone will comment and say that was that bow. So the way you change the draw length from these little modules here. These cables are interesting. So that one's, yeah, sorry, that one's coated, these ones are bare. So this is the later cable system that's now featured on the Oneida. So this bow was the changing of the old design to the new design. So this is like incredibly smooth. You can't feel it let off. You just, like, it's smooth all the way through. There's no peaking. It's like the same poundage all the way through. It's just beautiful. And these bows were really common for finger shooters, for people who wanted to shoot fingers, because you can't derail the thing because it's got a proper limb here. And it's nice and smooth. It's not lumping over. The problem with I get a lot of questions from people. Look, I want a compound bow to shoot fingers. Had one this week. I want a compound bow to shoot fingers, second hand for about $1,000. Look, it's hard to get because these bows have got so much let off, and you do this with your fingers or you let go of it, funny, the string whips out, comes off the cams, and you derail your bow. I have a whole lot of the Bhutanese Society. They all shoot fingered compounds, 70 pounds. Huge problem because you do this, you derail the bow. You do that, derail. You do that, derail. You do anything with your fingers, you derail. This bulletproof. This bow would be perfect for the Bhutanese and just awesome bow. Like it's better than the bow in the Arrow TV series. This is cool. Well, let's try this, Pete. Oh, that is so quiet. That is so quiet. He's put puffs on. Like, so good. This is so good. I think back in the day when I sold these, and I know these weren't cheap. These were expensive. I'm going to guess the Oneida back in the day when I was first selling them when I was 20 years old, so about 30 odd years ago, they were about $800 brand new. The MR80 I think was about $1,200. I think this was a step beyond that, maybe $1,600. There's no vibration. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. The grip is thinner. It's a good grip. The grip's fit. Now this is an old bow, and look how good a condition it's in. The grip, Now normally when customers come in the shop and they go, I've got an old bow and I want to trade it in, it's junk. It's a $50 bow and it's not worth anything. It's not even worth my time to list it. This is awesome. It's one of those old bows and you just go, there's never many of them around. I don't know where all my dad's old bows are because I haven't seen any of those. But this, and it's the thing, you like, the bow lives on beyond the archer, and it's a cool thing. I used to shoot one of these bows for target archery in my club, and I used to shoot alright with it. This is cool. Multiple sight positions here. Look, and this sight's pretty good. It's like years old. You can see the fibre optics at the front. They don't do that anymore because now it's all encapsulated, so you can't break the fibre optics. Those fibre pins are fantastic. Micro adjustment on the side. You can see a bit of rust on the side there where he would have put down in dirt. But look, this bow, this is 30 years old. See the rust on the sight pins? Sight here? There's nothing. I did the recurve the other day on the bow which was 2 weeks old. Massive amounts of rust here. This bow is 30 years old. Look how much rust there is. Like hardly any. It's like virtually like no, this is all metal. This is all pure steel. Like very little rust. See a little bit of rust there, but it's literally, it's like brand new. It's fantastic. It's very, very rare to get an old bow in this condition. That is so cool. So this is the Oneida something or other, and it's cool. If you can find one, grab it. Don't ask me what to pay for it. And one of the problems with these bows, it's like, for me, I'm going to put up on the wall and put a little plaque under there. I should probably have got the guy's picture and put it on the plaque. But that's so old. It's really like a collector thing, and you're going to have someone who wants to collect the bow. But it's good enough to shoot today. Like if you want to shoot fingers, like if I wanted to shoot fingers bare bow because it's a competition, it's one of the competition categories, compound finger shooting, I would absolutely shoot it with this bow. It'd be my #1 choice. And you can still get all the little modules to change the draw length and the let off. It's very, very cool. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that video, and hopefully things are going well. And thanks for watching. Bye.